Yo, what's up guys, how's it doing? Today we're going to be taking a look at the K40, which is one of Corsair's mid-tier keyboards priced at £55 or $70. Huge thanks to Urban AF for sending out this t-shirt. If you like what you see, go ahead and check out the links in the description below. More on them at the end. Now the K40 comes in with some pretty awesome features, including customizable color backlighting, 6 programmable G keys, and 100% anti-ghosting. It's designed very similar to a mechanical keyboard and it feels almost just like one, but it's actually electrical. That makes the K40 a perfect choice for those who are interested in a mechanical keyboard but don't quite have the budget for one that's in the high end. A lot of the mechanical keyboards out there will tend to compromise on features like backlighting and customizable G keys, and that's what really makes the K40 stand out. So starting off with the keys, you get a regular keyboard with the numpad, some media buttons, and of course 6 G keys on the left hand side. The keys are nice and clicky and they have a good amount of travel, which I think is really good. You're not going to mistake any keys for other keys. You know, obviously this isn't a chick click keyboard, so you're pretty much getting a fairly standard keyboard here, and it's going to work really well. The G keys allow you to set any input or group of inputs to a key, and you can essentially use that as a shortcut. You've got 3 buttons for 3 different profiles for these G keys, and you also get a brightness button for the LEDs on the keyboard, which you can use to adjust brightness and turn the lights off. The G keys work pretty well. It's there if you need them. I've been using this keyboard for a very long time and I've never really ever needed them, and I kind of find it weird having to really stretch over to reach those G keys. That said, I kind of have small hands, so I think that's just a me problem, but I don't think these are super useful. That said though, it's nice to have them, and if it adds a little bit extra to the price, I don't really have a problem with that, because again, these are really useful if you have some use for them. The extra profile buttons on the keyboard are actually really useful if you want to switch in and out of profiles without having to open up the software. That's the way to do it, and it's super handy. You can also map buttons right from there rather than using the software, which is also pretty good, but I'll get to the software in a minute. So you get LEDs across every single key on this keyboard, and these are fully customizable. You can change the color, the brightness, you can even have preset patterns, and you set all of these in the software. Now it's really nice that they've included these LEDs. It's super cool to have them, but you don't really see them unless you're in kind of complete darkness. It doesn't have very good brightness, and even where it kind of does have good brightness, the color reproduction isn't very good. For example, a yellow color might look a little bit more green, which is very weird. And yeah, the colors just don't look as good as they could. Also, you don't get advanced features like that ripple effect when you kind of press a key and then it ripples outwards. This is all software related, you know. They could have easily done this, they just didn't because it's a mid-tier keyboard. That's a bit of a shame, but again, I don't think that's such a big deal. You're not really looking at your keyboard, but yeah, I mean, having a keyboard that fits into your setup is very important. For that, if you're not after a certain pattern, you know, you can obviously get this on Rainbow Pulse or whatever you like. I just keep it standard. I like it, you know, just being on blue or on red, and for that, it's gonna fit your setup perfectly. You also get grayed out WASD and arrow keys. Now, this might make it look a little bit weird, especially on the Amazon page, which is linked below. It does look a little bit weird, but in real life, I don't see a problem with this. It's nice to have that. You won't really find yourself depending on it, especially if you are a PC gamer. You probably know where all the keys are anyway, but I think it's nice to have, and it doesn't really take away from the look of the keyboard, and in fact, if anything, I think it makes it look much better. It goes in with that kind of grey accent that they've got going on with the top of the keyboard. I think that's pretty cool, and I really like the way it looks. As for software, it's a pretty mixed bag. Firmware updates have always bricked my Corsair products in the past, and the software just feels quite clunky. It's hard to get used to at first, but once you get used to it, it's not such a big problem. It's still always going to be clunky and slow and just kind of weird to use. I really wish that they could just refine this software, make it feel a little bit more user-friendly, but unfortunately that isn't the case. As I touched on earlier, you can also configure the patterns and LEDs with this keyboard. That's all done from the software, and it's fairly simple. There's not much confusion here. Just as I said, bear in mind that colors won't look the same in real life, which is a bit of a shame, but again, I don't think that's such a big deal. Obviously, the LED customization is there, it works, and there's nothing I've got to complain about there. It does its job. Now, as I also mentioned earlier, it would have been nice to see other things included with this, because this is mainly a software related thing for as far as I know. So it is a shame that they haven't done that. You know, a ripple effect or just other kind of more advanced patterns would be really nice, but that's reserved for those more high-end products, as you already know. So overall, the keyboard is a pretty high quality product. There's not much I think I can say about it. It just works well, and that's the only thing you need to care about. You know, if a keyboard doesn't work work well, that's when things really get bad, but when it does work well, you just never really notice it. And that's something that I really like about this keyboard. It doesn't stand out with any awesome features, which I think is fine. You know, at the end of the day, you need this to input, you know, movements if you're playing a game or just text or whatever. So I think it's pretty good. It's better than those regular sort of £5 keyboards that you can find that don't really do much. This feels good. It's nice to type with for a long time. And yeah, I always say this, it's up to that Corsair standard. They really just did it well. Obviously it would be nice to see more advanced features with this keyboard. It is quite pricey, and obviously with that price I think we could have seen a little bit more, and the price has actually been raised up. I bought this keyboard, I think it was 2 years ago now, when it was £40 and it's now £55, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I'll give this keyboard an 8 out of 10. It's packed with features, but the software could improve and the lights aren't perfect, which I think is a pretty major selling point for this keyboard. So it's obviously a shame that that's not there, but yeah, 8 out of 10. It's a solid product. I'd recommend it to anyone interested. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'm out. Peace. So guys, Urban AF do t-shirts, hoodies, all sorts of accessories, and they also do free worldwide shipping. You're going to be buying a high quality product, you know, something you want to wear, and they were cool enough to send out this Hodor t-shirt to me. Everyone loves a bit of Hodor, and they also sent this Gamer Mode On t-shirt to me. Extremely cool stuff to see. So as I said, if you like what you see, go ahead and check out the links in the description below. If nothing else, it'll help me out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm out. Peace.